variants. And one year, there's this, you know how the hurricanes have been coming through lately? Well, there was really bad hurricanes and snowstorms that year. It's so bad that nobody was able to, it was hard to get food for the mountain Indians. So they decided the farmers have some food, we're coming down and we're going to get some of the food so we can exist. So they come down and they take the food, and one of them takes an Indian, one of the Indian boy, and he brings them up. And now the farming Indians, they're enraged. How can they do this to us? How can they just come down and take our stuff? And basically come down and basically wipe us out in some ways. So they basically arrange a posse. And we're going to go up to the Indians, the warrior Indians, and we're going to get everything back. And they start going up. 1 week passes and they're up maybe 2,000 feet up in the mountains. Another week happens and they're maybe 200 more feet up, and they're starting to really question, what are we doing? These warrior Indians, they're tough, they're big, they're tough, they know how to fight, etc., etc. What are we doing? And they go up a little bit more and they start talking and they start communicating with each other, and they see this little Indian woman going up the mountain, and she just keeps on going up. And all of a sudden, after an hour or two, they hear all sorts of commotion, all sorts of yelling, all sorts of screaming. And yelling and screaming, and it's just horrible. And they say, well, I wonder what happened. And another half hour comes down, and they see this Indian coming down with the baby in her hands. And they say, here we have 30 of our strongest Indians all set to go up there and fight with them, and you alone go up there and you get the baby. How can you do that? How are you able to do that? And she looks at them, and she retorts basically, it's not your baby. And your job at this point in time in business is to find your baby, your vision, what you really want to do. And what I suggest, and what Stephen Covey suggests, okay, is basically find your vision, find your unique ability, find the thing you love doing, your baby, and do it. How do you do that? Well, I'm going to suggest basically you take the form that I've given you, the Pocket Coach, goal out everything, and goal it out basically from lifetime, okay, to 3 years, to 1 year, to 90 days. All you have to do is take 3, 4, 5 items that you want to do every 3 months for the past 14, 15 years. Actually, probably 15, 16 years that I've been doing this. I do it every 3 months. I'm not in the program anymore, but I've still been doing it. It's a great form, and every time you basically define what you want to do. If you write it down, odds are it's going to get done. You're going to look at it. And what I do is I put this form right in front of me on top of my desk. I have a plastic clear piece of plastic across it, and I'm able to look at it every day. It's like, gee, I didn't get to that, or gee, I didn't get to that. And I make sure that I get to most of the items that I really want to take care of. So that's one of my suggestions. Now, every business, when you're developing a business, there are 4 things you really have to be careful of and you want to do. And that's be thankful, be on time. You want to make sure you're on time on everything. My wife complains about me countless times. Why do you have to be 15, 20 minutes early? Because
I'm going to write that down.
Because basically, you may get lost, you may do something, and I want to be on time. I want everybody to know that I have respect, and I want to help the person out, so I'm always on time. In court, it even has a plus. Yeah. If I'm on time and I write my name in right away, usually they do it who came in first. It's great. I get in, I get out of court, and I go to the next court, or I go to the next meeting. So you always want to be on time. The next thing is, say what you're going to do. Now, when I see a client, criminal client, I say basically, I'm going to try to keep you out of jail. Or I'm going to try to minimize as much time as you're going to get. Thankfully, I've been in my own office now for probably, I'd say, 16 years or 15 years now. And I've had 4 or 5 people go to jail. And they were really, one could have gone to jail probably for 10 to 30 years. He ended up with 4 years, lucky. The other one, I was able to get time served, then he got out. So I have a special purpose. I have a special vision on what I'm doing. I want to help my clients as much as possible. If my clients are doing drugs, I want them in a program. I want to see if they can get help in a program. I'm not going to go over some of these little stories I have because it's not, I don't have enough time. Now, if you say what you're going to do, the last thing is finish what you say you're going to do. Because if you don't, there's a question mark of whether you're really sincere or not. So finish it. And I always finish up my cases when I finished either a vehicle in traffic or a misdemeanor or a felony. I always finish up with, thank you for allowing us to be of assistance. If I can be of any further help, please feel free to call me. And that's where I am. Now, the goals that we talk about in this program, okay, they shouldn't be only business, okay? They should also be personal. Have your bucket list, okay? I have about 10 places I want to go in the world. We just went to, I talked to Tom about it. We just went to Scandinavia, so we hit 7. We hit 5 or 6 countries in the Baltics. Next year in March, we're going to Australia and New Zealand.
Did you get to Lithuania?
Huh?
Did you get to Lithuania?
Yes.
Vilnius?
No, we got to, what was it? We got to Oslo, Copenhagen, Stockholm, Helsinki, Monday, which is in Germany. There were 2 other places we went up there. Latvia, yeah.
So jealous of you guys. I just got back from Newburgh.
Believe me, I go to Newburgh too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Now, in business, you also want to key in on certain things, okay? And one of the things you want to key in is why do you open up your business, okay? So, it's for income, right? It's for profit, yes. If you have a corporation, well, you want to get the revenue, but then you want to take it out and profit from it, okay? It's for flow, to make sure the business is going. And it can basically feed itself, flow. And probably the most important thing, and the thing I was talking to you, all of you about, is basically equity. What are you going to do with your business when you leave it? You want to sell it, or you want to give it out, and you want to make sure that the business hopefully continues. There's some type of continuity to it. So those are the 4 things that you're really looking to do.
4. You said income, profit, equity,
And
and
flow.
flow.
Like flow, there was a character flow. So that's the vision part of it, okay? We go now to the income part, and I'm only going through this quickly because I know I have 20 minutes or so, I don't even know.
Hey, you know, everybody okay?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, good.
So we're going to talk about income. And if you take a look at our sheet, okay, there's the 20 top there, and then there's the farm club. So you figure out, who am I going to get paid for the most in the next 90 days? Those are the people you service, okay? Because you know at least your flow will be coming through, and you know your business is going to be able to survive in the next 90 days. And hopefully, you have some money over there so you can continue to support your business. Because that's what it's all about. So you want to put the top 20 there, and then you want to go to the farm club and make another top 20. And what I do, if you ever look at my sheet in my office, I have about 100, 150 people that we service, okay? But remember, I've been doing this for 41 years. I've been in Rockland County for 41 years. And I have a number of clients, thankfully, that come back to me. And you never know where they're coming from or where they come from. And thankfully, they've been coming back, especially if you do a good job. Most important thing is doing a good job, so they come back. So we have the top 20, then you have the farm club, and then if you want to put a few more stragglers in there, and you make sure that those cases are done. Typically, and normally, I have 3 lists on the side. I have my personal injury list, I have my criminal list, and I have criminal law cases, and I have my real estate cases that I'm moving, or the business, or the sale and buying of a business. Those are the usual cases I'm dealing with. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, do you want certain clients? Now, there are some clients that I don't want. There's some clients that are not going to make me happy, nor am I going to make them happy. Example, a lady came into my office 2 days ago. She comes in, she says her son has been arrested. She finally tells me, because I keep on asking her, but she finally tells me that it's an A1 felony. So I tell her basically it's going to be expensive. It's going to be
What is the A1?
A1 felony is up to life in prison.
Oh,
So I say, look, it's going to cost you about $20,000. I'm going to need a substantial sum of money to pay. It's all the way up in Poughkeepsie, and I have people who do a lot of the 9th Judicial District. So I say, look, I'll be more than glad to talk to you about the case, but I really need all the paperwork. I need to know what I'm doing if I'm going to give you a... And then she tells me, well, she thinks her son pled guilty and he's supposed to do up to 10 years. So I said, what are you doing here? If you already pled guilty, what do you want me to do? Well, he's supposed to be sentenced. What can you do for me? So I said, I'll look into the case. I'll charge it a small amount. I told her I'll charge you 2 hours to look into the case, talk to the other attorney, and see what I can do. At which point she says, well, what are you going to charge me? I said, well, it's going to be $500 minimum, okay, to look into the case, but I'll see what I can do. She says, okay, I'll go out in the car and I'll get you $500. After a bunch of arguments about it, what are you going to do for me? At which point in time, you haven't seen her, I haven't seen her since. Those are clients you don't want. So I'm going to give you an idea. Tom, you want to?
Yeah, whichever way. How would you like it?
Write it on the board?
Yeah, I wrote.
Okay, so what we're going to do is you care. And
Yes,
let me
love
just-
you care.
Let me just do this.
Need a marker?
Marker.
Yep.
Marker. Okay. So what I want you to do is give me the name of a client, and you don't know whether or not the client is a good client or not a good client, whether you should take the client or not take the client. Anybody have a client they want to talk about?
that we don't want to work with.
No, you have a question. Should you take the client or should you not?
Yes, I do.
Okay, give me the name of the person. First name only. I don't really care about.
Okay, John.
Okay, John. Does he allow you to do what you really like to do from 1 to 5, with 5 being the maximum?
No.
How much?
Oh, 1.
1.
Ah.
Does he compensate you from 1 to 5?
3.
Does he appreciate you from 1 to 5?
2.
Does he refer cases, or can he refer cases to you in the future from 1 to 5?
3.
Okay, and can he enhance your business? Can you learn from him and can he learn from you? And can there be a camaraderie between you?
1.
So we're going to give him a rating of 10. Any client that is less than 15 is a D and E client. Any client that
You said less than 15 or greater than 15?
less than 15.
Okay.
Any client
That's wrong.
from 17 through 25 is an ABC client. Okay? can I suggest basically that unless you have some special reason, any client that is less than 15, and that's wrong, it should be this way. Any client that is less than 15, don't take. May not be worth your so does anybody else have a client they would like to? Don? You have anybody? Tom?
I'll mention one.
Okay,
Yeah, and no names.
no name. Okay, so we're gonna name him no name.
All right.
No name. And does he allow you to do you? Unique?
2. He or she, just to be objective.
Fair enough. Does he compensate you?
3.
Does he appreciate you?
2.
Can he or she give you referrals
3.
and enhance your business? Have you learned from him? Has he learned from you?
4, in fairness.
Okay. So we have 7, 9, 14.
Mm-hmm.
Suggest basically you could really consider not taking.
Fired them 2 months ago.